Well, we've made it to January, which for this channel means it's time for annual review videos to come out. So without further ado, let's roll that intro and get right into my top 23 sales of 2023. Hey guys, it's me, Kay, and you've arrived at my weird little corner of the internet. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm a part-time reseller, mostly on eBay and Poshmark. I do sell locally at an antique mall and on other online platforms like Mercari, Depop, and Facebook Marketplace. And in today's video, like I said in the intro, we are talking about my top sales of 2023. I have done this for a few years now. It's part of my, beginning of the year series where I review the previous year. I just did my brands I want to manifest video wearing the same outfit. I decided not to change, so sorry about that. But let's talk about my top sales. So the way I calculate it, it's by profit. So we're talking about sales that are over $50 in profit for me, because sale number 23 at the bottom was $50.40 of profit. And the top sale for the year was a profit of $315.36. So from $50 to $315, it also covers sales from $63 to $400. That's the range for these top 23 sales. I will try to show you pictures on the screen. Some of them for eBay, I might not be able to show you the photo because they're so old from like the beginning of the year, and eBay only keeps data for so long. And I don't know if I'm gonna wanna try to look in Terapeak and find the listings, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna move over. Also, I wanted to get into a couple other random stats before we get started. 4 out of 23 of these sales came from the same bin strip. So that was a really great bin strip. If you've been around my channel for a while, you might know which one that was, but I found a couple Johnny Was plus size pieces and a Faraday sweatshirt. All three, actually, and the fourth item is a Free People dress. So yeah, all 4 of those hit this top 23 sales list. And 5 out of 23 were from ThredUp. I've been keeping track of my ThredUp sales in like a separate area of my business, statistics and stuff. Total gross sales for all 23 items was $2,892, making my ASP for these 23 $125.74. ASP is average sales price, if you didn't know. My total cost of goods for all 23 items was $93.20. So basically what I'm saying is I took $93.20, so under $100, and I turned it into almost $3,000 in sales. My average cost of goods was $4.05 for all of these items. Love that. I love to stay at $5 and under if I can help it. My total profit for all of these items was $2,291.99. 99 cents just kills me, but you could probably thank eBay for that. And making my average profit $99.65. So an average profit of almost $100 for all 23 of these items. Love those numbers. Pretty sure that's way better than 2022, but I haven't compared it, to be honest. All right, so we're gonna go from the bottom to the top. So the worst to the best. Starting with item number 23, which was a personal item. So these came from my own closet. They were from the brand Keen. Great outdoor gear brand. They really do best in the shoes. I don't know if I've ever sold anything other than shoes from Keen. I'm pretty sure they make other items, but I've never sold anything other than shoes. These were like a hiking boot. They were called the Targhee 2 waterproof hiking boot in a 9.5. I bought these in 2017 and wore them to Peru to hike the Inca Trail for 4 days, and then I never wore them again. I don't know why, and I decided to list them in 2023. They did take 9 months to sell, but they sold for $63. I listed them for $75. My cost is $0 because it's been at least 6 years since I bought them. So my cost has already been consumed. And so my profit after the Poshmark fee was $50.40. All right, next we have the Fry Company. So this is part of the Fry line. but these are from the Fry Company. It's slightly different. I don't know which one is better, Fry Company or just Fry, but it's part of the same family. These were a pair of men's black leather Paul is the style zip boots. and these were a size 11. I found these for $9.49. I also found another pair of Fry boots in the men's section the same day. They're a little bit higher on this list, but both of them sold and made it into this list of items. They took 3 weeks to sell. I did list them at $80 and they sold for $67, making my profit $50.61 after fees. Number 21, Everlane. I was really surprised to see that Everlane made this list, but I'm not mad at it. Black, the wool cashmere oversized cardigan in a size medium. I paid $6.39 for this. It did take 10 months to sell. I listed it at $90. It sold for $76 and I made $54.41. Next is that Free People maxi dress that I was just talking about from that binge trip where I found the 4 items that hit this list. It was called the Rare Feelings Maxi. It was in like the black combo color, size extra small. I paid $1.16 at the bins. I love the bins for that. The pricing is just amazing. I listed it at $80 and it sold in 2 weeks for $70 and my profit was $54.84. Number 19 was another item that came from my personal closet. I was doing some, reconnaissance, I guess, in my house and trying to declutter things, and I was going underneath my bed and I found a couple pairs of shoes that were still new in the box that I didn't even know that I had. So I listed these. They were a pair of new Nike black and silver Metcon 7 sneakers in a size 9.5. Love the Metcons for working out. If you're a lifter, they're very flat, so they're great for like squats and deadlifts, things like that. And they do pretty well on the resale market if you ever come across them. My cost is $0. Again, I didn't even know I had these, so I don't know how much I paid for them. Don't know how long they were sitting under my bed that I never touched them. So they sold in 2.5 months. I listed them at $80. And someone accepted an auto 10% off offer that my Flipbot had sent out. So I made $55.58. Next is another pair of Nikes that were mine. Seeing a trend here. They came from also under the bed. These were the Nike black and white Air Max 90s. Air Max 90 is my favorite shoe of all time, favorite sneaker. I have quite a few pairs of these. These were a Flyknit material, size 8.5. Again, cost is $0 because I don't know when I bought them. It's been several years, probably 2016, 2017 is when I picked these up. They sold in 2 weeks for $70. I listed them at $80 and my profit was $56. Next is a ThredUp item. So these came in a ThredUp shoe box. I paid 19 cents per shoe, 19 cents, 19 cents, because I had credits. So I think it's 15 pairs in the box. So I paid 19 cents per pair in that box of 15. And I had no idea what these were because I had never heard of them before. So the brand is Veja. And I was very not impressed with that box when I opened it. But there's actually 2 pairs of shoes from this box that are on this list. And one of them is towards the top. So these were the V12 red suede. I am gonna butcher this name, Roui. It sounds French. I don't know what it actually is or what it means. Sneakers with the gum sole, size 37. They sold in exactly 1 month. I listed them at $90, took a $68 offer and made $59.09. Happy with that. Next is the other pair of Fry men's boots that I told you I found 2 on the same day. These were distressed leather harness Chelsea boots, the harness boots. They even have harness like mules slides, without the back. The harness boots and styles from Fry do really well. These were a size 12 men's. I paid, again, $9.49, same price as the other pair. These sold in 2 days. For $90, I listed them at $120. Someone sent a $90 offer and I made $62.51. All right, number 15 is another one of those bins items. This is the Bee Yellowtail and Faraday collab Rainbow Falls crochet hoodie. This thing was beautiful. If it was a medium, I probably would have kept it for myself, even though I like money. This is an extra large. I paid, again, $1.16 for all those items during that binge trip. This sold in 3.5 months. I listed it at $175. Probably could have got closer to that if I had waited, but I sent out 40% off offers in my closet. I do that every week with my Flipbot for items that are over 100 days old in my closet, and someone accepted that offer. But this one was actually a 50% off offer for $87. I'm pretty sure 87 is half of 175. It's either 40 or 50%, one of the two. And I was still happy with that since I paid $1.16 and it got it out of my closet. It took up quite a bit of space and I made $66.42. So if you find this Bee Yellowtail and Faraday collab, pick it up. I pick up pretty much any Faraday item I've ever found, and they all sold really fast except for this one that took 3.5 months. Next is a vintage Y2K pair of Calvin Klein Carpenter overalls in a size medium. I picked these up fairly recently towards the end of 2023. I paid $11.77 for them. They sold in 2 weeks for full price of $100. And I made $68.23 in profit. Next was another vintage item, and this was a bins find, though not the same bin strip as the two Johnny Was, the Faraday hoodie, and the, I can't think right now, oh, the Free People maxi dress. I was really surprised to see where this sold because I kind of priced it not knowing where it would land. This was a vintage, the 7-inch singles series Madonna box set version 2. It was a set of albums, 7-inch albums. And like I said, I had no idea where to sell these at. I tried to look in Terapeak. There really weren't that many ever sold in the last year. So I listed it at $100 and figured I would take, you know, anything north of probably 30 bucks because it was a bins find. So my investment was not that much. I paid $1.43. But someone sent an offer of $90. It went international, somewhere in Europe, I forget exactly where, and it sold in 5 days. So I was really surprised by that, and I made $74.73. Okay, next is Jenny Kane. Actually, the next two items are from Jenny Kane. The first is a pair of black shearling mules. Her pointed toe mules are kind of what she's known for, as well as her sweaters. These I had gotten from the Real. They had really screwed me over, and so they offered me some credits, and so I bought a couple things to resell. I paid $4.19 for these. They took a year to sell. I listed them at $200. They sold on a half off sale that I was running for $100. So usually they do better than that, but at least as far as I've heard, that was my first time ever selling the brand, and it didn't, I mean, it still sold for $100 and I paid $4.19, but it just took so long to sell that I was really surprised. And I don't know if I would want to pick them up again, especially for, you know, a higher price, like $20 and up. I probably wouldn't do that just because I would be sitting on them at least for a long time, based on my previous experience, which is really all I can go from because things sell differently for different people. But anyways, I made $75.81 off of that sale. Next is another, like I said, Jenny Kane item. This one I found myself at my Honey Hole store. It was a wool cashmere blend sweater, size medium. I paid $4.05. It was very pilly, and I don't think the thrift store knew what the heck it was. I was very surprised to find it, even though it was at my Honey Hole store. I listed it for $150. It sold in 3 days on an offer from the buyer for $100, and I made $75.95. Next is another ThredUp item. These came in a different shoe box than the Vejas. I paid $3.74 per item in that box. These were from Sorel. They were the Joan of Arctic leather snow boots in a size 9. They took 8 months to sell because I don't wait on things to list them like seasonal. I just list them whenever I have time to list the item and I have it in my possession. So they took 8 months to sell because they sold closer to when, you know, you would wear a Joan of Arctic winter boot. I listed them at $125 and they sold for an offer of $95, and I made $79.33. Next is one of those Johnny Was bins finds. This was the Johnny Was Jade line, which I'd never found before. It was called the Silk Star Gazer shift dress in a 3X, phenomenal size. Again, my cost of goods was $1.16. This sold in 2 months. I listed it at $175 and it sold for $110, and my profit was $86.84. Next is another pair of shoes from that same box as the Vejas, so my cost is 19 cents. I had never heard of this brand either. Like I mentioned before, I was kind of unimpressed with this box, and it wasn't until people started commenting and telling me about these brands that I realized that I actually had quite a winner on my hands. So thank you, you guys keep me in check. But the brand is Fiorentini and Baker. They were a brown leather elf booty in a size 38. I listed them for $130. They sold in hours on an offer from a buyer for $117. I love a good offer. And I made $99.23. So that is the last sale where I don't make more than, I make under $100 in profit. So the next 7 I made over $100. Next is the other Johnny Was from that bins. This was the groovy purple Brunswick Laura tunic in a 2X. I assumed that they came from the same person because one was a 2X and the other was a 3X. But whoever you are, please keep donating to the bins because you have good stuff. I paid $1.16. This one sold in 10 days. I listed it at $150. It sold on an offer for $133, and my profit was $112.87. So that was a really profitable bin strip for me. I would love to have more of those. Next item took over a year to sell, 15 months, but it's number 6 on the list. It was a new tag. Figue is the brand, F-I-G-U-E. It was a Gianna batik tassel dress. I sourced this in San Francisco when I went there on vacation. There was a thrift store near where I was staying, so went over there and grabbed a couple things. I paid $9.99 for it. Again, it sold in 15 months. I listed it at $175, and someone graciously sent me a $157 offer, which I happily accepted since it had been sitting for so long, and I made $13.89. All right, top 5. We have an Apple iPad 7th gen 32 gigabyte with Wi-Fi only, 10.2 inches. This was Liv's, and she'd had it for quite a few years. It sold in hours. I listed it for $150 and it sold for $135. That was an offer someone sent me on eBay, and we made $121.43. I say we for that one specifically because she got half of the profits for that item because it was hers. Number 4 is another ThredUp item, though this one's not shoes. This one came in a DIY designer box. This was a vintage Prada goat leather whip stitch tote. It was kind of damaged and flawed, so I took my time listing it. I guess I shouldn't because it sold in 3 weeks, so I could have had that money a lot sooner. I wasn't really sure where to price it at, so I listed it at $250. I'd never sold a Prada purse before. I don't have much experience with designer brands, which is part of the reason why I like getting those boxes, because they're items that I don't typically find in my local area, at least whenever I go out thrifting. I took an offer of $212, so I made $156.60. I paid $13 for it from that DIY designer box. All right, number 3 is a semi-recent sale. I think I got these in October or November, somewhere around there. And I got the item from Plato's Closet. I paid $10. I don't go to Plato's Closet. I probably haven't been there in like 3 or 4 years. But I decided to take some items in because I didn't feel like listing them and I had way too much in my death pile. Still do. So you might see some Plato's Closet content in the near future if that's something you're interested in, buy, sell, trade type of deal. So when I was in there, I decided to poke around a little bit and I found these, and they only had them listed for $10. I assume because maybe they thought they weren't legit, but everything checked out on them. They were Alexander McQueen, the really popular platform sneakers. If you're familiar, you guys will be seeing the photo. But I listed them at $300. They sold in 3 weeks for $250. Again, my cost was $10, so I made $190 in profit. Item number 2 on the list is something that I got for free. So recently I changed internet providers, and the new provider that I'm using now was offering a promotion at the time where if you switch to them after I think like 65 days or something like that of having their service, they would send you an Apple HomePod. And I don't need an Apple HomePod. I don't need a smart home. I use Apple products. I love them, but I had no need for this, so I listed it. My cost was $0 because it came from Verizon Fios. So there we go. But it was a new in-box Apple HomePod 2nd Gen in the midnight color. It sold in one day. I listed it for $250. I got a ton of offers on this almost as soon as I listed it. But I held out and I got an offer of $230, so $20 off my asking price. Happy to accept that. And I made $211.86. So thank you, Verizon Fios. And the #1 sale was another ThredUp item. This came from the men's designer box. That one is not DIY. It's my favorite box by far that ThredUp offers on their rescue website. And I've only sadly gotten 2 of them. The other one that I got, the first one I ever got, had a Canada Goose jacket in it. And it sold for half off, so it sold for $400, but it was also an extra small in men's, so I think that's part of the reason why I couldn't get closer to the $800 mark. But yeah, I've been really happy with that box, and anytime I see it go live, I will purchase it because I need more of those in my life. But this came from the second one that I ever got. I paid $4.64 for this. That box is only 4 items for $140. So each item is roughly $35 cost. But again, I had credits because I'm a ThredUp ambassador, and at the time they were doing $50 a month. Now they're doing only $25. So I had more credits to use. And I'm really happy I did, even though this still would have been a great sale if I had paid the $35, but it sold in 5 months. This was a new with tag Todd Snyder. Todd Snyder's a great brand. I had found it once before. It was a collab with Champion, and that did pretty well. Not this well, but pretty well for a collab with Champion. But this was only the second time I'd ever seen this brand. So if you find it in the future, highly suggest picking it up. It was the suede Dylan jacket. It was a small men's size, I think. I think it was a small, or if not an extra small, like the Canada Goose. I listed it at $800 and it sold. Again, this was a half off offer, kind of similar to the Canada Goose jacket, for $400. But I was so happy to take that half off offer. That jacket it was new with tags, and it retailed well over $1,000, so that's why I priced it high, and I had no idea where it was gonna land. So I took basically the first offer that ever came in, even though it was half off, just because I knew it was a good sale anyway. I paid under $5 for it, and I made $315.36 off of that one ThredUp item. So yeah, that's my top 23 sales of the year. Hopefully that was helpful to you in some way to see what brands are selling for what price range, how much profit I am making on sales. I wish this was like the average profit, $50, or sorry, average profit was $99.65. So I wish that was the case for every item that I sell, but you know, I sell a lot of bread and butter. I sell a lot of activewear, Lululemon, Athleta, those kind of things, which don't really garner that much in profit, but it's still fun, I think, to see what type of items are selling for higher amounts, and especially so for someone who's part-time. So this video will be done again in 2025 for 2024's year of sales. So far I've made a couple decent ones that may hit this, but I mean, it's only the middle of January right now, so we have plenty of time to go to find some really great items for my resale business. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my list. Maybe give me some of your top sales for the year if you keep track of that type of thing. I would love to hear about it. Maybe I'll learn some new brands to look out for in 2024 and beyond. But other than that, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it at any point, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out here on YouTube to know what type of content you enjoy seeing from me. And as always, if you're not already subscribed and you like reseller content, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you here in my weird little family on the internet, and I hope to see you next time. Bye guys.